So, welcome to No Shame, the Debrief. So what we have done today is we have a collection of all of the episodes that we have created so far. So over the past 2 years, me and Robin have been working hard on this. And when we first started out, we decided we said we'll do 100 episodes. And at least by the end of that, we would understand what we were doing, or we would figure out that we were actually good at it, or we were shit, one or the other. Turns out it's actually going really, really well. So many people that have passed through the doors of the No Shame studio have gone on to do amazing things. People have set up businesses, people have been elected, we've had some incredible stories. The 100 episode kind of theory is literally like the 10,000 hours theory if you think of it. You have to apply yourself to something. I think you have to put a lot of work in before you ever become successful in anything, and that's a huge statement, I think, in life alone. People want success at the start. Unfortunately, it's going to be a lot of failure before you get what you're looking for in something. We've reached episode 99 last week, so we decided to take this opportunity to bounce back through some of the episodes and have a bit of crack. Our first episode here is me cringingly introducing the first episode of the No Shame podcast with our adventure that is Damian Browne. An amazing person, an amazing story, and this was episode 1 of the No Shame podcast. We're now here in the No Shame studio at SBG Dublin 24, and it looks pretty cool. I'm pretty comfortable. It's pretty warm. There's tea, and they were all in my boxes that I had to take off. So today, my name is Paddy Holohan. If you don't know me, the Hooligan Holohan. I'm a former UFC fighter. Was part of the Irish invasion that kind of took on the world of MMA, and I now own a gym, SBG Dublin 24 here. Holohan built, which is better built. Our plan is to kind of build a team and make this kind of Irish invasion get stronger and keep on going again. But today I have a guy in here that is the equivalent of what adventure is. So Tom Crean being a huge man and a huge inspiration to me, Shane said, I know a Tom Crean. So I'd like to introduce former rugby star, professional rugby player, Damian Browne here, also an adventurer. So do you want to introduce yourself, Damien? So let us know. Even looking back at it, it looks like I've got a little bit better at it. I'm starting to think that the word is an Irishman's chisel or an Irishman's fuck way of getting through the English language. It's took a long time for me to kind of figure out which way to do this. It mostly just flows. I think if you plan it too much, it can go against you. You have to have some sort of lines, some sort of research done on it, which is the most important part. But if you force it, I don't think it works. What do you think, Robin?
Yeah, I think so.
How many times have we just came in here and have a few bullet points of knowledge and blew up something
Knocked
that's been...
out of the park, home run.
Out of the park.
Yeah.
Even since then, Robin, where have we gone with the lights and the production?
Yeah, the production value wasn't the best on episode 1. Wasn't the worst, but we just had to go for it. I think we were trying to make it as good as it could be for a while, but it ultimately gets to a point where it's never going to be perfect, and we built it as we went. It was like, Star Wars, the Death Star, the third one, where it's kind of half built. Like, that's where we were at the start, and now it's a fully functional operational system.
It's a rolling ball now, for sure.
Yeah,
sure.
The thing, there's little things it's so dark. The footage is so dark. You can't even see Damian Browne's face there. The microphone's in his way.
The microphone taking over his face.
Shocking camera angle.
Half Damian, half microphone.
Yeah.
It's a good way of doing an anonymous one, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, we got curtains. The curtains was a really good addition, I think, to the studio. Look at the plug sockets there in the background as well.
When Damien first came on, he was just about to row across the Atlantic Ocean single-handedly in a non-motorised boat. When we got him back after the show, we've had him on twice, he told us all about that journey. He was able to answer the shit question as well. Where was he going to shit? That was my question over and over. To me, if an accident was going to happen, and that's where it was going to happen, Damien would have fell overboard with his trousers around his ankles. I can't help look at these nasty things that are coming up when I'm coming in to ask someone's questions. And do you know what? I just ask them questions. since then, he's decided to climb the 7 summits, finishing with Everest. So there's no doubt when he does complete this one, he will be coming back on the No Shame Show to tell us all about that Everest trip. If you haven't followed Damien, follow him, Instagram, Owlstock, and you will not be disappointed.
And then it was like just time slowed down. I mean, it was like slow motion, and I was like just underwater, hanging onto the boat with one arm going, just squeeze your grip, squeeze your grip, squeeze your grip, and just having that, like, again, that awareness and concentration to be able to do that when, you know, basically could be, you know, if you let go, like, that's it, man, you know.
You're going to be separated, and the wave in because then I was looking up at a bit of stuff and all when I was thinking of you out there, like, the separation can happen so fast between a boat and someone that's
it's gone, you're gone, the boat's gone one way, you're gone the other,
and the
you know.
thing is, the more you chase it, it'll actually
that's if you can't chase it.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I can't swim, so I'm big fucking shit, man.
You're shitting me.
No,
you are shitting me.
I could probably swim like 20 meters, but then I sink, so so I don't even have the capabilities to.
There's no bottom, like it's not like a swimming pool then.
No,
then I sink.
Is it not?
No,
nobody told me.
You know, but it's not like someone's coming in to get you. You went out across the Atlantic Ocean and you cannot swim.
Yeah,
you are fucking mental, man. You are mental, man. Sometimes you just want to sit in your gaff eating cereal. You know,
of course.
Cheerios, your job.
Yeah. You a Cheerios man, yeah?
I mix around.
Yeah.
Keep
the body
a few
guessing.
bowls of cereal there. I like a bowl of cereal. I had a bowl of porridge last night with a banana in it.
Snap, crackle and pop as well.
Yeah. My girlfriend thinks that I'm a peasant because I eat porridge.
Oh no, I've porridge it all the time.
And you can mess around with porridge. Like, why are you eating porridge?
Blueberries.
She'd be like, there's good food downstairs. I'm like,
that's the best stuff you can get.
what are you on about?
Yeah.
This is proper survival.
And it's cheap.
Food.
It's
yeah,
cheap.
a bowl of porridge. I'll be going for 3 weeks on this bowl. I will. Of
course, yeah. I'm telling you one thing, if there's a Holocaust, the one thing I would want is porridge. Fuck the bread.
That's what people are saying, go to an island, what are you bringing? Porridge.
Of course.
A big bag of Cavanagh.
Yeah, porridge and a 6-pack of Dutch Gold maybe.
Oh, a Dutch Gold.
A flagon or two.
You love the cans, eh? What do you drink? You like a can?
I drink anything really, because I don't really like the taste. I just like the feeling I get when I steam, you know?
That is the last words of an alcoholic.
No, I like...
It makes everything so much better. But there's so much crazy shit that's going on with the moon landing. I'll debunk some of the stuff for you, right? The reason why they wanted the people to believe that they landed on the moon was they were trying to get the Russians to spend a lot of their budget on space. Supposedly in early 51 they shot the scene of them landing on the moon. They launched Apollo 13 that it went around the earth 8 times while the idea of them being on the moon, all the footage was getting released and sent down and all the footage was controlled by NASA. So how do we land on the moon? Well, we can't do it anymore. That's what they said. A guy, high level scientist NASA, they can't do it. Do you know why? We lost the technology to land on the moon.
What year did he land on the moon? Was it 80s or 70s?
1969.
Yes. Like back in the day, man.
And do you know what the rule was? They said, if you don't make it within the 60s, fake it.
Shout out to Neil Armstrong. Let us know, mate, will you? Fuck's sake. Is he still alive now?
He's dead
he's dead now.
I only figured that out as well.
He's probably not even dead. He probably just wants us to think he's dead.
My advice is, if you have a few minutes or if you haven't able to, or if you're in work and someone else is paying you, which is always better, and you're not doing that, have a little look of did we land on the moon, because I'm pretty sure if we figure this shit out, a lot of stuff would start rolling out of the closet. You know what I mean? Like, now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but sometimes
I am not now.
I don't know.
I'm not into conspiracy theories.
No, but I can get caught up in one, like, you know.
Oh, stop.
I was in a hospital yesterday and I was in the canteen, right, and there was loads of nurses sitting on this table, and this big owl lad that looked like Colonel Chicken came in, right, and he literally sat on the chair, right, and his balls fell, right, and I'm not messing with, he was looking at the nurses like this.
I hope he was a patient, was he?
Man,
he didn't just walk in and just
balls about the size of that mic
Oh,
he was a patient, right? Sorry how I got onto that, but just when you were talking about the gi jacket, I started shit, no pants and it was like that. Anyhow, sorry.
I said there was a nice little breeze going in though. I'd say he was happy enough.
Mad situation. But I'm not messing. If we had,
and you know that thing,
that
but like you're like that's fucking disgusting. But you keep going.
I couldn't stop looking at him.
Is he still there? Is he still there?
My uncle's sitting there. He's like, "What are you looking at?" That guy's balls.
Don't look over there. Don't look over there.
Ah, like no shame.
Yeah,
no shame in that.
You have to look. What are you gonna do? And then you're making comparisons. Is he bigger than me? Is he bigger than me?
He's definitely bigger than me. He's definitely bigger than me. And I'd say he had a bit of shrinkage and all going on. So I remember one time he took me into a lane and that killed him, and you bleeding rallied me. Right? Now it was an accident, right? Because I didn't know.
I don't remember that.
It was a lane. It was a horrible, right? You don't remember the lane in Rackhill?
The lane in Rackhill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, this was
yeah.
inside the gym, not outside the gym.
Oh, that's what was me. I had to
in a dark lane somewhere.
Is that not a lane inside, not a corridor, no?
Yeah, no, it was kind of. It felt fairly laney when you were on top of me. This is all jiu-jitsu related. I remember rolling, and I remember just not being able to move. You probably smitten me about 10 times, right? And I remember just being like, no, it wasn't the madness, it was the nicest thing possible. It was the nicest way possible. I just knew that I was drowning though. And then we were up getting changed a few days later, and it was gi, and you put your purple belt on. And I remember literally turning around and going, thank Jesus. Thank God. I thought I was just absolutely like stupid at this game. Do you know what I mean? This was something I noticed that, say when we all broke through, Cole, that every one of us was a part of a different society. So we kind of like infected all the different societies at the same time. I've said this on this before, like, so say like mine is like council estates, and like Connor was kind of like that as well. But then you have like Ash was like females. Then you have like even like down to Brian Moore, down the country a little bit. Then you have you're over the other side, like
Go down north side.
You know, but you know what I mean? And then you have Chris out representing the black.
Yeah, that's it. We came from all walks of life. That was kind of the cool thing about us. Like, everyone came from around a different area. We all shared a dream, and we just kind of went on about our own way, and we just came together, and it was like the perfect storm, wasn't it?
Like the fucking Avengers.
We were
the Irish Avengers. That's what it was.
The next clip what we have on is we have one of my comrades, one of the old schoolers, the Rowdy Roddy. And as I said, my memory's like an elephant with this. You were stood on the stage for a good little while, wasn't he? Right, was he?
Oh, Jesus.
And it was the most awkward moment in the world, wasn't it?
Yeah, so John Ferguson says to me, I'm going to put on this, epic music. I don't know, it was from Gladiator or something. Before your actual walkout music. I says, no, because what'll I do? I want you to stand there for a minute and a half. So I stood there, and I went through my little shadowboxing routine, and then I didn't know what to do. So I was like, what will I do now? And then I started shadowboxing again, and I started feeling really awkward.
Even when your mates ran up to
and
you.
then my mate O'Brien, locked out of his mind, comes over to me and says, give us a hug, Roddy. And I says, I can't give you a hug, I'm getting ready to fight. And he told me to fuck off. He says, fuck off then. And then walks off, and then I'm like, I start getting real weird. But no matter what goes on, like, you can be very nervous beforehand. You can be terrified. You can fall. They can mess up your song. They can do whatever. But for me, anytime like that happened, I'd be annoyed. But as soon as you walk through the doors, it's gone. Everything is gone because it's game on. And but yeah, John Ferguson had me standing up there for 3.5 minutes bleeding. I done all the combinations that I could think of. And then I just
know everything I have now.
Then I started just kind of throwing straight punches, walking down. Oh, it was weird. It was so awkward. Like, it was like, this is fucking weird, man. But as I said, I overcame and came through it. And
definitely. Wow, I remember that night like it was yesterday, Robin. I really do. And to hear even back like that has put a mad smile on my face. That was a mental night in that place. Sweat, alcohol flying all over the place. And I remember that in the moment that he's talking about. Do you know what's amazing there? Isn't it amazing that Owen actually remembers his mate's name?
O'Brien.
O'Brien straight away.
Locked up.
Yeah, locked out was nuts. And you can even see him making the little signal there with his hand. Fuck off.
Fuck off then. Yeah.
Fuck off then. I can imagine what Roddy was thinking going through his head there. But that night was mental. It was. It's when you do get on, it's always a trip down memory lane. Because as a friend and a fan as well of Owen, it's been an incredible journey for him in what he's doing with his gym in Charlestown, the amount of fighters that he's brought up as well, and the stuff that he's done with Conor as well is. It's absolutely incredible to be able to look back at it, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That clip went viral as well. O'Brien's a bit of a cult hero now in no shame folklore.
Out there in Ballymun.
Isn't it the most Irish thing ever? Like, your mate is the biggest fight of your life and he won't give you a hug, so you're like, well, fuck you prick.
Do you know what's mental? If you ask, say, an American or something, what do you reckon his name is? They say, I don't know, O'Brien or something.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
There's no doubt we'd have Roddy on in the future as well.
Absolutely.
Roddy is an incredible guest. I think we should get him on to break a fight down with us next year.
Oh, yeah. Roddy is always welcome back. And we did a poll there a couple of months back on favourite the fan favourite episode, and they voted it Owen Roddy.
I remember that actually, yeah. Owen Roddy's the champ. I remember him being he was into the number one spot.
He's the current champ,
We're going to have to get a trophy over to him or something.
Yeah, we need to get him. Roddy, if you come back onto the show, we'll give you your belt.
Roddy, you come back, we'll get you your belt, yeah, no shame title, yeah. And then you're going to have to defend it in these next 100 episodes that we're going to do over the next 2 years.
Yeah, we've even had a few contenders since that vote.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Who
actually, when I look back at some of these episodes and I look at the numbers, it's like, how did it go that fast? And it's never ever felt like effort. Look,
like
we've never cashed in on the No Shame show, if you think so. We haven't taken on sponsors. We haven't really affected the production or anything like that. In the next 100 episodes, we're going to try and improve the show. So for the first 100, it has literally been us doing this for 2 years for nothing, basically. When I say nothing, I mean financial gain. I have got lots out of this. So much information and knowledge and the idea of understanding, being able to discuss something with somebody without and have a different opinion sometimes as well. It's a skill learning thing as well as an entertainment.
We're professional boxers. 1 in 5 of them in their mid-40s are dementing. Those are the facts. I look after about 25, maybe a little over 25 boxers in that sort of age range, or a bit older, and they were fast brains once. They're now slow brains. They CTE or dementia pugilistica or boxer's dementia, whatever you want to call it, is a horrible disease. It's one where you begin with personality change, panic attacks, anger problems, impulsivity, drug misuse, all that kind of thing. We have an opportunity in MMA to go a different route because it's a young sport. If we're only starting to take fighter safety serious when they get to the UFC, then again we have failed them.
Absolutely,
we have failed them.
Absolutely.
Now we are ready to live. Christians, Muslims, Jews together in peace, equality, and harmony. I myself have many Jewish friends, and Ilan Pappé is an Israeli professor, and he wrote this book and debunks Israeli and then he wrote another book with Noam Chomsky on Palestine, and in these 2 books they say that these 2 people, the best solution is one democratic state for everybody to live together in peace and harmony. Because part of the Palestinian people is Jewish and part is Christian. We can live in harmony, all of us, regardless of your religious background.
Yeah. This is what we hope will come out, is that it was an electrical fire, started in the roof and spread quickly because you had a whole storage space of flammable materials that it spread. And basically what's happened in the last week is that the Attorney General has said that they will grant a new inquest. Possibly from that, then there may be the scope to press charges for people. But for the families, what they'll tell you is, we just want the truth on the public record. Like in Hillsborough, we didn't start this fire. Yeah. There was nothing we could have done. The doors were locked. The windows were barred. There's only been 2 people who've faced any sort of criminal charge because of the Stardust. And one of them was Antoinette Keegan's father, because he punched the owner of the nightclub one night. And Christy Moore, who wrote the song They Never Came Home, and they got an injunction against the song. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Christy Moore's been a huge supporter of the families over the years.
Christy's an animal. Yeah. You can come on too, Christy. You're allowed.
He's bringing up these leaves up his back, and you can see the guy. You can nearly see the goose pimples on the guy. I'm like, man. So it's coming up through him, and next minute the guy's just and projected vomit flew out, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened here? But I didn't get sick the first night, and I'm like, stomach like a cow.
Yeah.
With all honey badger stomach. Not a bother. People getting sick, not a bother. Second night, I took it. One of the guys was playing the guitar beside me. He was only taking part in the ritual, but he plays music, and he started playing Pink Floyd. And it was like going inside me. It was like, the music was coming out of the guitar. It was going into me, and I was like, this is just so, I'm so emotional. I was like, this is like doesn't get
Alive.
back. I was like, this is like, everything's connected. You just feel like it's such a cool experience.
If you look at the, say, 1803 rebellion, the amount of shit that went wrong was just insane. Like, it was...
Go name a few of that stuff that went wrong.
Okay, so
you know more.
Robert Emmett, like, super intelligent guy. Only 25 when he was killed, by the way, when he was executed. Like, and he was going to attack Dublin Castle. One with grappling hooks, so they were going to go over the wall. One they were going to mine under. The third way was attack it with rockets, which weren't used. You know what I mean? He went to France to experiment with this. So the guy who was in charge of the rocket fuses forgot the fucking fuses, so they couldn't use that. Do you know what I mean? There's one example.
You useless bastard.
The 1,000 rebels came in to fight beside him, and they said, "Hey, who's this chap that's leading the rebellion?" Like, I mean, he's only a young lad. What battle experience has he got? And they said, none, because we're getting the fuck out of here. But before they'd done that, Rob Bremer goes, look, I've sent my most trusted lieutenant off to get like a load of guns, a load of arms. Your man, the lieutenant, was never seen again. Off with the money. Do you know what I mean? So
runner with the money.
Runner with the money. So everything that could have went wrong did go wrong. So like, just go back in time and go, hey, look, this is going to happen here. You know what I mean? Or, here's the fuses. You know, put them in your back pocket.
And just walk with your man that does the runner. Just don't even say that. Just break his nose. Boom. You know what I mean?
But there's like a million of those little stories. Do you know what I mean?
I remember that story, and that was like was. Oh, look at that box is moving over.
Oh, don't worry about it. It's grand. No one's going anywhere.
There's literally a snake popping his head out of a box at the moment.
But that was tough. That was. I know.
That shit freaks me out. I'm trying to get the hibbity jibbities on me.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Can you see that? Can you see that?
It's the story right there. I'll put the kettle on it so it won't there.
Can you see that?
Now, perfect. Yeah, but that
thing lifts that kettle on was leaving.
Probably could. Fascinating. I really like looking at these animals because they're a real throwback to like older times.
That thing is moving, that kettle, that snake.
Yeah,
I'm dying to see him. Gets it out, puts it into a little box. Wow, is this a pointing?
Yeah. Oh, well, it's a royal python. Yeah. So this is like your typical pet that a lot of people will have. It's a lovely little snake. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So you see the forked tongue in a snake. I'll give you a little fact.
He's tasting us, is he?
Yeah, he's tasting the air. So if you have a mouse in your pocket, say, for example, right, and this guy is hungry, he'll stick his tongue out in the air and he'll taste back into a thing called the Jacobson organ in his head, and he'll taste mouse on this side of his tongue, right? So he'll move towards that way.
Okay.
And then he'll taste it on, he might go too far and he'll taste the air again and he'll taste it on this side, and so on and so forth until he has it narrowed down to 2 points. Bang. So that means the snakes.
Is that where he can taste it on both sides then?
Yeah.
That's where
that he knows. He knows.
Right,
exactly.
Right.
So even with poor eyesight, if they have poor eyesight as a species, or even if there's certain snakes that live on islands that birds peck their eyes out.
Pocket me. It's sniffing over here.
There's certain snakes that live on islands that seagulls will peck their eyes out. So if they're near their nests and all that, and they can still hunt it. Because they have that. They have the.
It's like a homing beacon,
yeah,
really, isn't it?
Absolutely. And also, if you look around the mouth there, he has the heat pits for checking out. So it'd be like Predator, you know, that kind that kind of thing. Yeah. Anytime. Yeah. The interesting thing about these two as well.
The clinic that you do in the Killing Art, and I remember dropping down to that, and like from problems to housing, from to these problems. So I remember you doing me a letter to go to the Ultimate Fighter. Cottle has done so much for Irish MMA as well behind the scenes.
Tallagh's bigger than Limerick by a mile. Limerick's a city. It's way bigger than Kilkenny, which is classed as a city.
Do you hear that, blind boy? You know what I mean?
You know, and I don't know.
Tiny little farm down there. City boy. You reckon if we banged an out extension onto the prairie, we could call her a cathedral?
There's very little powers in the presidency, and I think that's part of the reason why it was a damn squib. So people are saying to you then, so what you going to do about the homeless crisis? What you going to do about unemployment? What you going to do about the lack of policing? What you going to do about this? What you going to do? What's my answer? Nothing. She can't do anything about it.
She'll do nothing.
She'll do nothing. Do you know what I mean?
Some incredible friendships I have now with people that have came on is it is a crazy little journey that you go on with this, and anyone that's been listeners, there's some diehard No Shame fans out there, people that have been like, I've listened to every episode twice, Paddy, you know what I mean, and which is amazing to hear, really is. This next clip coming on, I remember driving towards the gym for this one, and I could not believe what I was just about to do. I'm a massive Tupac fan. I think a lot of people from my even from the year I grew up in, I think maybe the Tupac is going to become the Bob Dylan of our generation, if you must. When we get older now, people are not looking back at the idea of Tupac and saying he's a relative rapper, if you must. He's an old school rapper now to the kids, and even when I was growing up, he was an old school rapper. But to see that his music still lives on is absolutely amazing. And to drive towards the studio to be able to interview one of his friends, one of his close homies, if you must, guys that a guy that has been around him for a long, long time, Napoleon from the Outlawz. Check this out.
People say that Suge Knight set it up and Tupac owed him money, and
Suge loved Pac. He got hit in the head and the chest. After the Pac got killed, man, Suge lifted his shirt up and showed me and the rest of the Outlawz bullet wounds to his chest. He had holes in his chest and in his head. And Suge was like, look, I even got hit in the chest. I seen this with my own eyes. You know what I mean? Suge loved Pac.
That's what I was thinking.
And this Suge like 300 pounds. Yeah. He would never say, man, kill Pac while he in the car with me. You gonna get hit, man. You taking up half of the car.
100%.
You know what I mean?
When I was thinking of it, the size of him did come into my head.
And the guy said it. The guy said, before I pulled the trigger, he said, Suge looked at me, and I looked at Suge. Oh, it's all on the internet. The police was asking him a question. He's like, so Suge saw you kill him? He said, yeah, Suge seen us. He said, what did Suge do? He said, he just look, what can he do? He said, we've been beefing since high school. And when they asked Suge, like, if you know Kill Pac, would you tell us? He said, man, I don't get paid to solve crimes. Suge, no, but it's the code. What can he do? You know what I mean?
What I love about that clip, Paddy, is the clash of accents.
Oh, really?
Like he's got such a Mutah's got such a cool like accent. Like it's deadly. Like it's like you're watching a movie when he's talking. He goes, Suge love Pac, and then you're just like, that's what he was thinking.
I was fucking thinking that, mate. I knew it. You know what I mean? Thanks. That is what I was like, because that like sometimes I'd be walking to school and I would have been, as I said, I would have been a mad rap fan growing up, and the idea of like there's so many conspiracies that roll around in that's involved with that. I remember even when I went to Vegas, one of the first things I did, first time I was in Vegas, I went to the Boulevard. I'm trying to think of it. Koval and Flamingo and Koval. So that's where Tupac was shot. So on the intersection of Flamingo and Koval. And I remember getting a taxi driver to bring me there and jumping out and just standing on that street and being like, this is mental. And to think now, like Tupac was kind of like a lot of people that I would know now, you know. He was like not just Connor, other people as well. You know, he was just been really, really famous and like a young fella, if you must, just a kid, like 26 years of age. If you think of it now, like when I would have been looking up to that before, that was old, but like that's a young time to die. And when he's talking about Suge Knight there, when you do think of it a little bit older, nobody is going to risk somebody getting shot while they're in the car sitting next to them. Think about it. Someone's going to reach in with a firearm and start firing it into a car, and you're going to be like, yeah, well, it's not going to hit me. So thinking of the whole Suge Knight thing, there's not a chance that Suge Knight had him set up. I think what Mutah told us was the truth.
I think it was. One thing about that episode, you forgot to ask.
I did, and I went to the school to collect my son, and I said, guess who I had on the podcast today? I had one of Tupac's friends. His name was this, blah, 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 and he's like, did he tell you whether he was dead or not? And I was like, how the fuck did I forget to ask him that? Now, thinking of it though, it probably would have been, I would have felt probably a little bit guilty after that, because that would have been disrespectful. I think. Imagine asking somebody, do you really think your friend is dead? Like, and to us it would have been Tupac Shakur would have been like one of the greatest rappers that ever lived, and an iconic force in working class people as well, because Tupac was one to stand up for working class and fight for their rights, if you must. He was very good at being able to explain how the man fucks over the little guy, if you must. And there's actually a video which is pretty crazy, and he's talking about yes, I am going to say I'm a thug. I ain't going to say I'm a thug because I'm going to rob you or rape you. I'm a businessman. That's what I'm doing. I'm out here in the street and I'm handling my business, right? If you go back and look at this video, there's like a flash in time. You're going to see somebody in the video that this is, I don't know, he's a time traveler or something, but go back and have a look at this video if you get a little chance on YouTube, a little bit of no shame homework if you must, and have a look and see, is there somebody in the video where you're like, holy shit, that person looks exactly like somebody I know. I remember doing it and sending it and being like, how trippy is that?
Absolutely. If you haven't seen that episode with Napoleon Mutabil, it's episode 4. all the way back, episode 4, Owen Roddy episode 3. Make sure you check those out. They're instant no shame classics.
Yes.
So we're going to move on now. Let's take a look at the thing I love about the MMA guests is the chemistry you have with them all. Like from Owen Roddy on episode 3, I think, to Ashton Daly last week, and we've had pretty much all of the fighters that were part of your story have been on in between, and there's just beautiful interaction between you and the fighters every time they come on, because it's just like you've never been apart, and it just all comes back and the conversation just flows, and it's so hard sometimes just to get the cameras rolling because they're just buzzing off each other before we even start going.
Yeah, if there was a no shame behind the scenes podcast, so before and after the shows as well, you would be shocked at some of the stories that actually get missed out on sometimes. But we do try to catch as many as we can.
And maybe maybe that's something we can introduce down the line. But this next clip, I thought is just again, it shows not just how far we come as you've come as an interviewer, but even how far we come on production values, because this next clip here with John Phillips, he kind of exposed the studio for what it was.
And we've got, well, I won't ruin it for you, but we're sorted now.
Yeah, I just got to play it here. You have the 100% Irish seal of approval, don't you? There's not a lot of products that do. We got Irish beef. We got like.
You got fucked up couches.
Yeah, we got fucked up.
This is they don't know this, right? You don't know this with this video. But you know, there's a pillow missing from this couch, and every time I move, this pillow keeps sliding away. It looks like a worm's, but the pillows are moving from underneath me.
Oh, we're gonna wrap it up on that.
It's a lovely couch, but there's a pillow missing. I'm not happy.
We are actually sorted now, John. The pillow situation is all good.
I remember the week we had it then, and we tagged him in it, and he said it's a different shade of green. It's not the right shade.
John is a stand-up guy, and literally another guest that we would say that when he came on. Now he's in a situation where he just won $50,000. He did with a knockout and a night bonus. So it's incredible to be able to see these people and get the energy from them as well. Because I have that rare form of ability in me. To be happy for others. Not many people have it, but here at the No Shame, we radiate it.
Yeah, John is it was such a funny episode. Episode 9. Let me double check that.
Was that episode
10? That was episode 10, I think. John Phillips.
If you haven't checked that out, that is a hilarious episode. John is a stand-up guy. I'm telling you, he's such an individual, such a loyal motherfucker, and he has that Welsh heart in him. He does.
His Instagram stories as well are a thing of legend.
He is a legend. He's a legend.
Okay, so the next clip we're going to look at this. Well, you call him the sow.
The sow.
The showstopper.
The showstopper. The sow. Peter Queely.
Yeah.
We call him the sow because a female pig is a sow, and a sow is tough as fuck. You do not mess with a female pig. That's what I used to call him the sow anyway. Now, I don't think he gets offended by it, but I think other people would. But to me, he's the sow.
If you haven't seen any of the fights in that, try check some of them out on YouTube. That thing was like a coliseum.
It's like a cauldron.
That's what it was like, wasn't it? They hate everything, and you didn't know who was with you or against you regarding promoter wise and stuff like that.
And I always remember as well, I don't know what the fuck was going on there, but it always seemed smoky in there as well. Like the air, you couldn't even see 20 feet ahead of you or something.
That was like the thing used to remind me of a coliseum.
It was mad seeing there. And I remember as well, you can say what you want about him, but your man John Ferguson, he was I don't know how he used to do it, but he used to have that thing packed, like 3,000 people seated, and then he'd be selling tickets at the door, $5 to go, lads standing up as well in there. So it's full to the guns, like full, as full as can be.
I'm pretty sure he still owes me a few quid though.
He owes everyone a few quid.
Yeah, did you not get your vouchers though?
Tell him that.
Do you remember that?
Tell him that.
You don't remember that? No?
I do remember.
You remember that?
I remember clearly. Just tell
you used to get
else.
maybe 200 quid for your fight, and now there's 300 quid vouchers. Swear to God, like you was fucking St. Vincent the Ball or something.
It was some sports brand he owned.
He owned it, and he was giving
vouchers for some sports brand he owned. Yeah,
it was our own shop. John, if you're listening, you're the fucking Mario.
How mental is that? And what Peter Queenie's referring to there is the cage contender show that used to be in the basketball arena. That was like the Coliseum of the Irish invasion coming up. A hot box of fucking fighting. That's what it was. And now, John Ferguson was alright. John Ferguson was sound because he set up a great show back in the day, and the production was second to none. We didn't get paid a lot of money, but that was just the way it rolled at that time. I think the biggest thing we did get paid out of it was we got paid experience, and we got the idea of being able to get communities where they're like, oh shit, there's something bubbling under the surface. That's the original Tree Arena, if you must, Rob.
You touched on it before, but it really was the Wild West days. And I love, do you know what I love whenever you talk about these things was how it was, you compare it to the Coliseum, and that's the arena that you start off in, you know, before you go to Rome. And I love that analogy. It was really good. Like,
and what Quealy has went on to do as well since then. So Quealy has went on to have some great wins in the Tree Arena, has built his career, is coaching at SPG Nace and stuff like that now. So doing other stuff in his life that from that part, if you had to wrote it down, it would have been like, right, there's a bit to do. And that's what I love about the guests coming through. If you write down what they're going to do in the future, they've gone on to do some absolutely incredible things, and not only that, but just keep growing and growing. And that's the type of guest I think that we're looking for, because the idea is every time they come on, they grow and grow, and you can bring them on again and again, because it's inspiring to see progress. Progress is inspiration.
This year he wasn't there. He was there in spirit. One of my mates done a beautiful thing. He's a big MMA fan. I give him a shout with Mossy. He said to me a few days before, he said, look in the hill. And then the ritual after we win the Sam Maguire, we run over to the hill with the cup, and we're just about to walk off, all the fans, we're just about to walk off to go around the Cusack stand and do a lap of honour. And then I spot him there, and he throws the t-shirt over to me, and it was a t-shirt. My dad looked like Walter White. Oh, he's the image of Walter White. So he had the Walter White face, and then saying it was her, Philly's hair. So it was a beautiful moment for me. It was very emotional. And it was just very thoughtful, I suppose.
When I'm getting goosebumps there, you tell that story.
Yeah.
The spirit you explained, you said it's when the times that you're tired, that's when you know that they're with you. That's when you know your brother John's with you and your father's with you, because they're the people you think about.
And them few years was probably, now when I look back, is probably the best years of my life.
That's the development.
I was travelling with me, man.
Apprenticeship.
Yeah, that's the apprenticeship.
That's the apprenticeship.
They don't see the 18 amateur fights that I've got. They don't see the hundreds of jiu-jitsu competitions. I've done probably more on the up until the last 2 years than I have done in the last 2 years. You know what I mean? I still haven't achieved as much. You get back what you put in. And not only years of hard work that I done, but the years of hard work that my family has put into me.
Mum and dad have done.
They were
thousands of hours.
Yeah, they my dad used to work extra shifts.
Yeah.
Drive a taxi. Used to work all night long. All night would have been working Christmas Day.
Is it good being able to pay them back a little bit now?
It's unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? I'm still in a lot of debt to them.
We got a few fights to go.
I think if I went and fought for the money Conor was fighting for, I wouldn't be able to pay them back.
Like, I look at life like I'm on the back straight now of life. I'm coming up to that last bend. I'm jostling for position to come over the line first place. Whereas a lot of people, they get to an age or a part of the race where they settle or quit or drift off the back. And all you got to make up the decision then is, do I put the trousers under the belly or over the belly?
They're the only decisions that you've got to make.
And then you settle on that. Whereas I'm coming to that back straight, I'm jostling to get into that top four, to kick off the fucking thing and come in and to get the gold. Instead of just drifting off the back.
Dennis is screwed. I'm gonna give the fitness thing one last go, and I set up a fitness class down on the beach. 5 people turned up the first morning. I went down with the mentality of, if I'm the best part of these people's day, this thing will grow. And within 3 months, there was 100 people down on the beach.
Really?
So
what the fuck were you doing with all that cash?
I got up early, first one up in the morning. Branson's down at breakfast. He says, "Come on, join me for breakfast." I said, the cycle is tomorrow, isn't it? I says, "I've no cycling shorts. I probably won't be able to have kids in the future." And he looked at me and he reached into his bag and he threw over a pair of cycling shorts. He goes, "You can wear mine. I'm not going to be wearing them." I said, "Oh, they're clean, Richie." And he said,
Good man, he was supposedly.
Sound. I was chatting to this girl and she had flippers on her, before the swim and the triathlon. I said, "What the fuck are you wearing?" She said, "You can't wear them, you'll wreck your hips." And someone pulled me off to the side and they says, "You can't talk to the princess like that." I said, "What are you on about?" Princess Beatrice, someone's daughter, one of the royal family over there, and here's me telling her what she should and shouldn't be doing.
I be saying what I want.
I'm a fitness trainer, I know.
What do you get? What's your
mad pictures of tattoos I want fixing, but they'll be like their bits and shit. Like they'll be like, "Can you fix this?" And
what? Like
an actual like
male and female?
Yeah. But like some of them, mate, like some of the stuff, like you just think, I can't even believe you've sent me that. I can't even believe that you've sent me that. I can't believe you've got that, and I can't believe you've sent me that and shown it me.
Yeah, no, you're not the first person he said it to.
But no, definitely not. But some of them, mate, were just. I mean, the only word to describe is horrific. Horrific. Yeah.
Like not even right back kind of horrific.
Nah, just like can't write back. No, like just think nutter.
Sky out there. You're throwing up sticking through your letterbox. I'm sticking out
What
there.
do you think of this? I'm just like,
letterbox. Doesn't it look like a face?
But you'd go out on a night out and then people go, "Oh, you fixed all the tattoos. Look at this." And then they take you're out on a night out and they take their clothes off and you're like, "Mate,
I'd say that's
like you're out." Like, do you know what I mean?
People running up to you with bogey tattoos.
All the time.
So we talked about it there at the start with episode 1. Admittedly, Paddy, it was a little bit of a waffly intro.
Absolutely. Listen, at the start of some of the episodes, all right, now I have to say, shamefully, and I won't say which one it was, I remember one time I had forgot the guest's name. I know that sounds terrible.
Way.
Now, I won't say I forgot it as in I didn't know who the guest was. I couldn't tell whether it was this form of the name or that form of it, and it would have been reading. So I'd say people make them mistakes. I won't say which one in any way, but I remember going outside the room and saying, Robin, what's his name? Now, we got through it, but we had all the research done, so I'm not that much of a fucking blackguard,
Sometimes you just draw a blank.
And that's exactly what happened. And when I was like, welcome, I'm gonna go to the toilet. Yeah, I just drew a blank literally on the name, and I couldn't remember it. But we saved the day. But from the first one, as you said there, like this one here is a huge difference compared to that. The jibber jabber, quit your jibber jabber.
Yeah, this next clip is just an example. I think it was episode 74, the second coming of the Russian Hammer. He returned after his first fight with Jason Knight in bare knuckle. And I just loved the chemistry between the two of you at the start, and it just flows so well, and it's a proper way to introduce the podcast. So I'm just going to play it here.
Welcome to No Shame, episode 74. A man I've been promising to get on again. The toughest motherfucker I think I've ever met in my life. I think anybody's ever met in my life, but the Hammer. Yeah,
good to be back.
I will be back.
Exactly.
We had him on the last time, but I think you were rushing the last time.
Yeah.
Excuse my pun.
Yeah, exactly. But this is a podcast. I can be on every weekend.
Dead. People are going to say, "Get him on every weekend." It'll be the No Shame, hosted by Paddy Holohan and the Hammer. We need a co-guest. So 2 huge things have happened to you since the last time you were on. So you've obviously became a daddy in the daddy club now.
I just love that, like how natural it was, and it was just like brilliant way to set up the episode. You're hooked after 42 seconds, and it's ready to go. Then, do you know what I mean? Like,
and it only took us 70 hours of practice.
Yeah, probably.
But that is how it works. It's not like you sit at home and practice it. You just you practice and tweaking it and getting it better. And listen, we are far from the finished product here.
Oh, absolutely.
As I said at the start of this, the first 100 episodes was about figuring out how to really do it. You have to be prepared to do that in life. You have to be prepared to put a lot of work in behind the scenes, and hats off to Robin. Robin does so much work for this podcast that this podcast would not be here without Robin, and that's for sure, Robin. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a well-oiled machine.
Oh, it's a well-oiled machine. Yeah, I love it.
You need good people in key spots. Like, you're the captain of the ship. I'm kind of just like, I'm down in the engine, just shoving coal into it.
Even Mark from Big Boom Digital that's came on as well. So we've attracted and attached people that didn't turn up and go, right, how much do I get paid? People have turned up and said, you know what, this is what I bring to it, and they've brought that to it, and literally radicalized parts of the podcast, if you
Yeah.
think, you know, whether it be the social media part, whether it be the guys that have made us the digital designs, all of the kind of stuff,
Yeah,
the arty
the
stuff that's
graphics.
going on, the graphics. It's a huge appreciation from us. Sometimes we're rushing so fast with the Russian on the telly. I love that line. That we don't get to kind of slow down and see what's actually going on and be more appreciative of it. But to all of the guests that do listen and do interact every single week, we see it and we really, really appreciate it. On the end of this as well. So we have Artem on. This is the second one that we had Artem on. Now Artem is standing on right on the crust now of fighting Jason Knight again. So Artem has blew up the big the bare knuckle boxing since then. I think he's probably the face of it, if you must.
Absolutely.
And the things that he's done since this episode, I think if you asked him what his biggest thing since he's done there and what the hardest thing, his most challenging thing since then, would probably be a father, as we touched on in this episode. But we're an incredible dude, and if you're looking for somebody that's tough, that's loyal, that's courageous, and that's willing to be grounded, is the Russian Hammer.
Yeah, and one of the reasons, excuse me, one of the reasons why we got the podcast off the ground so fast was for people like Artem, who every week was sharing clips and just anytime we asked them to tag us or do something, yeah, no problem, absolutely, just let me know. And like, he's just been a brilliant supporter of the show, and like people like Artem have really helped it to grow and to get the name out there. And this is probably, look at my Siri just turning on there. Fucking the machines are taking over. Did you see that?
That's weird.
Just listening in, it does that all the time.
I seen a crazy video the other day, right, Robin, and they turned around and said to them
on my phone as well, the computer and the phone. Oh my god,
they're after you. And someone asked the question of, I think it was on Netflix. It actually is. It's a new thing that was out on Netflix, and the person asked, have you ever talked about anything in a room, and then all of a sudden it's appeared in your Google Ads, and then everybody in the room stuck their hand up. And the way it happens is the camera's at the back of the room, and it's really freaky looking, because it's like everyone thinks, oh yeah, that happened to me once, but when we're in a room full of like 100 people and there all that happens, it's like,
it's scary.
I don't know what's going on. Like, but I think we will see the effects of social media and the idea of being stuck to your phone in years to come. In the idea of I was reading something last night, and it was like it gets in the way of your thinking. It gets in the way of your emotions. It blocks off what you're doing. You're running upstairs sometimes, you see someone and they're on their phone for like 20 minutes. Like, oh shit, what was I even doing up here? That definitely has happened to people.
Absolutely.
Happens to me all the fucking time.
Yeah. So the next, we've had such a, obviously MMA is probably our core, it's our bread and butter, but we're pretty much branched out to every genre now.
We don't banter with anybody, Robin.
And one of my favourite genres, we've had a few of them on, but you can't beat a good comedian.
No, you cannot be a good comedian.
Our next clip, probably one of Ireland's best comedians, most loved comedians, the man himself, the legend, Mr. Jason Byrne.
You gave me a phone call to do a little skit that we did.
Yeah,
that was a cool little skit. If you haven't seen
For
this,
Republic of Teddy.
Republic of Teddy, it was, right? And it involves me and Jason Byrne. Jason Byrne's buying guns off the Hooligan, I think it is, isn't it?
That's it.
He will trade.
Do you want to kill these vampires or not?
The father? Yeah. What's this, Paddy? Oh, that's mine. Oh, don't tell anybody about that. I'll fucking kill you, and
You can imagine somebody looking over that wall, though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not seeing cameras.
Two redheads.
Just hunking down.
Two pasty redheads looking at
It'd be
guns.
like, it's like the first ever episode of Love Hate.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's all you have to say now. It's all right. It was Love Hate.
We were going to part after that.
I think Love Hate needs you and me. The new series. They need to write it again.
Should put us in it.
Put us in, yeah.
Put us in.
I think it was a disgrace. You know.
That was like, I remember getting a phone call for that and being like, this. And that the thing is, the weird thing is, right? I'm a fan of Jason, and I've been a fan of Jason forever. I think everyone bleeding is. From way back there, like he's in Father Ted. He's in The General as well. If you don't notice it, he's the guy interviewing him. When you watch that episode, you'll figure it out. But some of the things I didn't even figure that out. A crazy story about that is that how I'd met Jason, and Jason rang me about that, is that there was a show out in the Ballymun, it's the Amphitheatre or something like that, whatever it is. It's a small, I don't know what it's called, probably not called that. And we were at the show, and Jason called me up on stage, he did, right? And he got me to climb into his jumper, Robin, right? So I climbed up the back of his jumper, so the two of us were in the same jumper, okay? So I had my arms in, he has arms in, and it's kind of like Jason moves around and he can control me. But he gets down onto the ground and starts trying to do some push-ups with me inside his jumper on his back in front of a load of Ballymunners. And he had to take the jumper off. So what he's doing is he's trying to take the jumper off while I'm in it. It's a trick or something like that. And then I'm choking him in it and stuff like that. And that's how this clip ever coming about. I was fighting in the UFC on the Saturday here. This is Thursday. So I was weighing in the next day here. I look like I'm probably bleeding. I haven't slept in weeks on him because I'm cutting weight. But looking even back at that, it's like crazy. My level of like motivation to just get it done and do it, I shouldn't have been there even shooting that day. And to me, it was just like, no, get it done because it's all part of the project, you know. So shit, that's actually motivating to myself, you know.
Yeah. And what, like, I think what you put into it, you get back ultimately. Definitely,
absolutely. I've said that over and over again. What you put in, you get back. And if you don't put it in, you're probably not going to do that well. You know what I mean? If you know that you haven't put it in, that's the thing. It's not about anyone else. It's not about what it results in. If you know you haven't put it in, you won't get the results out of it.
Yeah. 100%.
But that was a cracking episode, wasn't it?
Brilliant episode.
What a man.
What a man.
Bounced in, no problem as well. He's a top bloke.
The thing that got me, like, I was so surprised at how kind of zen he was.
Yeah.
So calm and like just relaxed, and just I was really impressed by like how the character you see on stage is a character. Essentially, it's not like it's an extension of who he is, but it's not him. And it was great to meet the real Jason Byrne. It's even more interesting than what you see on stage.
I was going to say it there, right, and then I didn't, because at the early podcasts, I would have to correct myself for saying some stuff, and I used to say, what did I say all the time? 100%. 100%. I used to say about 20 times during the podcast, and we kind of went back and we figured out that, you know what, we need to stop saying some shit. We need to stop saying, but that's a very hard thing to do as well, but practice makes perfect. So anybody that has gone on to us about making their own podcasts and setting her up and stuff like that, when you're 100 episodes deep, I think that's when you really figure out whether you can do it, whether you're into it, and whether you're doing it for the right reasons. The reason why we're doing it is because we definitely feel we can get a lot of people together over a large amount of time and make people realise that they're not so different. We're all very close. We've had some dark podcasts, we've had some really, really bright ones, but what we have shown, I think, is that people are not different. People are they're different slightly, but emotionally and the way they feel and the way success, the kind of the common denominator between success, I think we've really shown that over the last 99 episodes, and if you have listened to them, you will have been able to see that. I got a message yesterday of a guy that says, I listened to every single podcast you've ever done, and I'd find it hard to say that I haven't learned something in every single one of them.
Yeah, me too. I love coming here and doing this every week. I love coming into the gym. The guests we have on are inspirational people by and large, and they've achieved something in life. And where I sit, a lot of people can't see it in the studio, but where I sit, I'm like some creep down the back of the bus, just eavesdropping on a conversation between two people at the front, like
back in the 77.
Yeah, that's me. Like, so yeah, Jason Byrne is also a judge on Ireland's Got Talent.
Ireland's Got Talent. That's I was thinking The Voice there for a second, but
yeah,
there are also so many of them now being confused. Ireland's Got Talent, yeah.
And going on to the subject of reality TV shows, someone who was very successful on Dancing with the Stars.
I knew you were getting
someone you know really well.
Erin McGregor, yeah.
Erin McGregor was in with Terry Kavanagh. I really loved this clip from the episode, And what I loved about this episode as well, it wasn't an argument, it was a healthy discussion, and on one or two points you disagreed, but you talked like adults and you got past it.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna play it here.
Can you not tell if you look at someone and go, "Jay, she looks great"? It's probably a filter. Like, I'm not being funny,
you can, but that...
do you not, would you not put your best picture forward now? Think about it.
Look at my pictures there. Then. Then there's a picture of me and I look like the Bull McCabe in it, right? I'm just out of a grappling match, right? And I'm like this, so yeah. And and have a look at the picture and the
Paddy,
thing
I
under
would
it.
give that a like, I have to say.
Oh, hell.
I like shit like that as well, you know?
It's proper real,
Yeah.
right? And people say to me, like, Conor was fighting one time and I put a picture of me and him up on a horse. He was fighting Mayweather. What the fuck was that about? Don't know, thought it was a good picture. Me and Conor on a horse saying, "Yuba!" And I was like, and now he's going to fight Mayweather. And they're like, that has no connection. I'm like, I don't know, I thought I did.
And like, that's the image of something I do.
I would beg the telephone, you know what I'm saying?
Look where we are.
Like, it's very rare I'll put a picture up and I'm like, blue steel or anything like that. You know what I mean? I just...
That's refreshing listening back in that. At the time, Erin wouldn't have been down the influencer road as much, but now she's smashing it out the park. She's doing an amazing job at it. And Terry announced the Bellator in the Tree Arena.
That's right, yeah. Our first power couple, I would imagine, on the No Shame podcast.
Absolutely. I think me and Terry were a little bit afraid of Erin that day, so we weren't pushing the boat out.
Erin, another like really nice, really welcoming character. The thing I love about that, Erin said afterwards, I was enjoying it so much that I didn't put my telephone voice on. Like, she was like saying to me, she was like,
deadly.
She was like, oh, for God's sake, I sound so common in that, like, but she was just enjoying it, like, and that's what I love about the podcast. Like, people just like, it's not like a typical interview. There's no agenda. It's just have the chat, have a cup of tea, have the crack.
I've heard like people saying to me, "That's dangerous. That's like a glass of wine."
Yeah.
All of a sudden you have it, and then all of a sudden it's like you're looser than you think. That's been
that was a great clip.
That was a great clip. That was, and Erin is absolutely flying along. If you haven't checked out Erin's Instagram, check out her Instagram. It's really cool. It's really real. It's it's deadly.
Terry Kavanagh as well. I can't believe how far he's come. Like, since then he was just going off to do like the start of the kind of like the tour. He's away every weekend, like announcing at all the shows. As you said, he did Bellator, but he's just getting bigger and bigger.
Absolutely, he's working his ass off.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there's another guy and another say I won't say girl, woman, has been grinding for many years, and then it happened. And that's it. It's the idea is, if you think that you're going to start and you're going to see success, it's very rare that happens. We're sitting here, as I said, episode 99, and it feels like we're only starting to get episode 99 plus. Episode 99 was last week, but we only feel like we're starting to get the idea of how this flows. But one thing I have to say is that I think is in everything, if you have to put it in, if you want to be successful at something, is consistency. The big C, consistency is everything, and that's what me and Robin haven't missed this in 4 more weeks, and we will be 2 years straight, Robin.
Yeah, I think it could be already. I think we started in November 2 years ago. I think we're very close to that mark, because we did two highlights episodes as well. So like, we're over the 100 weeks. Essentially, like 102.52. I'd say we're about 2 weeks off.
Fairly.
3 weeks off.
Very nice. We're going to be here for a long time anyway, so.
So, who better than the tea aficionado of the UFC, the man who loves tea more than anything on this planet, the one and only Paddy, the Hooligan Holohan.
I'd say so. He said, I'm going to do an interview. No, he said, I'm going to do an interview with you, Elliot. Let me tell you where the stage is going to be.
How many different teas did you have that day?
Oh, we had a few.
Like, do you know why someone likes tea? You really like tea, man.
I know my tea.
If you don't mind me asking, Paddy, why?
Because I reckon this was the first tea they were thrown off the boat.
Weird.
The reason why I do know a lot about tea is because my granny used to tell me a lot about that.
No way.
But then she used to tell me stories about tea.
Yeah, because they were going different flavour. You were like, oh, well, this actually originates in the West Indies.
About we are happy.
You were telling him stuff that he didn't know. The guy that was pouring it.
Sitting here, like,
really?
And I sussed that
Watch that. If you haven't seen that interview, make sure you watch it. It's
haven't
brilliant.
seen it, check it out.
A star was born there that time.
Paddy's a tea enthusiast, an aficionado, if you will.
I heard that about you, sir.
In Ireland, I am the king of tea.
I started messing about with a bit of the MMA in the late 90s. And we used to watch them fucking mad videos and do mad stuff. But I used to have a class on Saturday class that was mental, right? So it was a judo / MMA / toy boxing / wrestling football class. So we'd all meet and 2 o'clock we'd have the keys for the gym.
5-a-side warm up, I'd say.
We used to do a run down to the park. We used to bring pads, do pads in the park. Now we were judo players, not know how to do pads in the park. Have a football match, run back, and then train. And then I'd say to the lads, I've seen this video, and I'd say, put that headgear on you out there and stand out there. And I said, lads, now, you all run and do flying knees at him. You know what I mean, mate? We'd crash mat on the far side, be mad. Or I'd say to the fellas, put a glove on each, right, and be fucking killing each other. You know, mental stuff. But a great bit of crack. half 7 we'd be walking out of the gym.
Yeah.
I've never been one to just go, okay, well, one door has closed, I'll sit back and wait. So I was like, fuck, I'm just going to do it myself. I spoke to everyone that I knew that had some involvement in film or video or cameras, and found a lad, Carl, he was like, yeah, I'd be interested in doing it. And I said, right, cool, we just go and see how we get on. Went, had the wrong mic, like the whole lot. Yeah. Literally, we were talking about learning on the job. And I just went, I don't know how to interview. I'm not a journalist, but I know how to have a conversation with someone, and I enjoy listening to people and, like, you know, bouncing and having a bit of banter with people. Exactly the way you are.
When I first met you, I think that's what you were doing. You were up in Temple Patrick, I think, when I first met you. And I'd seen a few of your interviews and stuff like that. Yeah. And you were like, can I do an interview? And I was like, about what? You were like,
I don't know.
I don't know. I was like, give me one of the questions you're going to ask me. And you were like, I don't know what I'm going to ask you. Yeah, I was like, alright, fuck it.
Yeah, let's go.
You know what I mean?
Do you know?
If I can have 1 hour of the day where I just can go and just roll, spar for 1 hour, we don't have to. I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm not
don't fucking talk to
do you know what I mean?
Just anybody in this room.
Let's just roll.
No,
we
yeah,
can
I
just
know.
roll beautiful. So like
music on.
Yeah, that's it. Oh man, so
steam on the mat. Yeah, I'm there with you. To me, that's my therapy. What you said there is about dealing with people at the end of it. I think that's 60% of it.
100%.
Being able to deal with people. Yeah. No, 60 there. No, I'm a fuck over that. 100%. We're gonna get 100%.
That's Joe Rogan, man. That's
the boy said to me, "Do you know you say 100%? Like 100% of the time." I'm like, 100%. If you go out and submit Gary Tonin tomorrow or something like that, you know what I'm saying?
It's funny you bring it up, Paddy. The lads will be fucking laughing at me that train with me. I actually did submit Gary.
Man,
but we're talking about 6 years ago, man. It's like literally when we were brown belts. I fought him when we were brown belts, and then he absolutely just killed me in the next one because he was like, "This fucking chap tapping me out. Who's this chap?
Kill me all you want, I got you."
Go to a good club. It's probably between about 70 and 100 quid a month.
Yeah.
Breaks down at maybe a chicken filler all a day. You'll have shredded 300 calories just losing the chicken filler.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean? We smoked a joint going in, I'd train, I'd die a debt and train, I'd come out and have one pre-rolled for going home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's 10 years ago, and Andy just pulled me up beside, snap out of it. You can't do both, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or I'm a strength and conditioning coach. Just as a, can it be done? I don't think so. I think it's just too much. Next of all, I get a text message off Siri. Just fucking cut the weight. Just cut the weight, you big fucking hound.
But Andrew's this guy at home. Cut that.
Yeah, cunts, fuck off. You cut it.
You fucking cut it, yeah.
So, yeah, then the rest is history.
The old scale guys are a dying breed, and it's not better than watching because you know that.
They're in the scrap, yeah.
It's on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so this next clip was one of my favourite podcasts as a fan. I grew up like idolising this guy. He is a legend, an Irish legend.
Absolutely.
And to hear some of the stories of him growing up as an Irish person in England was really like powerful stuff. Like, and to carry that flag and to feel so passionate, and it's like sometimes we don't realise how privileged we are to be Irish, and so many people wish they were Irish, and it's just a great thing to see like someone who means so much to me growing up. For that to mean so much to him is just like, because like admittedly, like when I first seen Kilbane, you just thought he was in on the granny rule. I never realised he was like probably more Irish than some people in this country. Like
absolutely,
even more. He knows everything. Like his dog is called Maguire because he feels like it could bring luck to the Mayo team. Like it could lift that jinx. He's just. And also, like on the subject of reality TV, he's just about to do Dancing on Ice.
Is he doing that?
Yeah, he's doing Dancing on Ice this season. Yeah,
I didn't even know that. But
I know.
On Ice, if you're gonna do Dancing on Bleeding, Dancing with the Stars, that's hard enough.
Yeah, because he had his issues with. But no, like Kevin Kilbane is a hero. I'm gonna play this clip. I thought this was brilliant.
They just wanted to go home, and we had an event then at the Phoenix Park. We went to.
I was there as well.
Yeah, we went to
the
Phoenix Park.
That was amazing.
It was. I think
that had to be amazing for you.
Westlife play. But you know what, Paddy? I didn't appreciate. I didn't want to be there.
Oh right.
I genuinely didn't want to be there. I was just
100,000 people or something.
Yeah, there was thousands and
Massive
thousands.
people.
We went out to the president's house in there in the park, and I just didn't want to be there.
It's got to be my house someday.
Is it? Hey, I tell you what. I tell you, if you're that first, I tell you. Would you invite me? Would you invite me to your inauguration?
Yeah, check out the there. Look at this guy. You're running around.
Yeah,
check out the place.
You'd be waiting a long time to shift Michael Dean.
Stop it. I'd be moving with him. I'd be like, you're out, Mikey. I want the dogs. Leave the dogs.
50-1 Paddy Power.
51 on Paddy Power.
Is it?
50-1. Would you believe that? And it has to be by 2039.
Is it?
That's
you got plenty of time.
Mental time.
You got plenty of time.
I don't want to be buttering people up until then. Up until the big vote.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
How cool was that? Like, and I would be a mad fan of Kevin Kilbane as well, and the idea of like, I remember doing a video here with him before for the Mayweather fight, and I was like fangirling before he came in. And then to see Kevin's Twitter and his stance on Ireland and the idea of like equality for people is incredible. And as you touched on it there, I think living outside Ireland probably made him more Irish because he appreciates the fact of actually who we are and the study of our history, and it's going to be taken for granted here, you know? Like a lot of kids these days and a lot of people growing up, so they don't understand our history and our bloodlines and the idea that we are the mighty fucking Irish, you know, and we need to keep that close to us rather than letting it fade off and just look into a phone all day, you know. I think Kevin's a great example of that, and I'd say that's where he got that from, because he understands what it's like to be Irish and the community part of that being away.
Yeah, what a hero. He didn't want to talk about all the great things he did. He just wanted to ask you like about like politics and all this stuff. And
this is why the podcast I think is so because to me, it's for so long people have been asking me questions.
Yeah.
And like I remember even going over to I done Jay Hunting's one.
That was a brilliant episode.
That if you don't get that, if you can't check that if you haven't checked that podcast out, check it out. So I did one with Jay then when we were away, and the idea was he's like, man, we could have sat literally in your place and did this for 6 hours. So I was asking you questions, but he was excited to ask me questions, but I was excited to ask him like how he came up and how he did it in such a little town and how does it work, and you know, and try to break down some of the stereotypes that would be involved with like tattoo artists as well. But and as I said, back to Kevin Kilbane, the idea of like him being a footballer and being so down to ground or so down to earth. I wonder is it possible now with the amount of money that's involved?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's, well, I won't say not possible, but it's definitely has to be rarer.
Oh, definitely. The funniest thing for me, I always say when he came in first, and you had a top on, but you took it off to change. I think you just maybe finished rounds or something. You took your top off to change it, and you had a Liverpool jersey on. And as an Everton, someone who like played for Everton, like. A huge success there in the city. He just seen you in your Liverpool jersey and he's like, Paddy, you absolute bastard.
And the thing was, it was just by chance, I'd say as well.
He's like, you've just gone way down in my estimations.
Listen, I get that all the time. It's crazy how football does that.
Yeah.
You get football where you've got I've got a Liverpool jersey on one day, and then you get some people in the comment section be like, yo, some people prick, and it's up and down. It's like, is there any way of pleasing people with football?
No. Okay, on the subject of people that are passionate about being Irish, I don't think there's anyone more passionate than John Connors, the great man himself.
I thought you were going to say someone else, but John Connors is
who do you think I was going to say?
I thought you were going to say Dean Scurry.
Oh, Dean Scurry.
You know what I mean? I thought you were going to say Dean Scurry because Dean Scurry has a story. You wouldn't know Dean as being in the public eye in that way. But Dean is another guy that's going on a mad journey of cold water treatment, and he's out swimming in the cold all of the time now. And he's an amazing man, he is. But that's what we thought you were going to say.
But the reality is power. Yeah? Who has the power? And why do you want it?
He-Man has it.
Why do you want it? Yeah, I have the power of Grayskull.
He-Man has it.
Why are you so selfish that you want the power? We have the power over here. Us guys here. You know what I mean? You're not in our club. You'll never be in our club. You're just the grease for our machine.
I'm going to run for president in 7 years, man. Then you know.
I was thinking about it as well. John Connors was thinking about it as
I'm going to
well.
run for president just for the crack. You know what I mean? 7 years.
I think it's either going to be me, you, or John Connors, or someone like Anthony Flynn, or Lynn that you had in here.
Lynn Lohan. Yes.
Lynn Lohan,
She'd be brilliant. That
Lynn.
Awesome.
You are sheer hot.
I just finished that book as well, Lynn. Absolutely
Powerful woman.
Did you read it?
I find it hard to read when you do an audio book, Lynn, and do it in your accent.
Yeah.
I was down with the lads doing yokes.
Cracking book.
Yeah, so Dean, we had Dean on twice with Maverick Sabre as well.
Maverick Sabre
How
as
cool
well,
was
yeah.
that episode, Friday night beers?
Absolutely cool. A few beers with Maverick Sabre. He's another absolute sound guy. Some great music as well. One of the songs, Glory. If you haven't checked out Glory, a Maverick Sabre's song, check it out. Drifting as well, another cracker. There's just so many great songs there from that lad as well. Now I have to say, Dean, you hijacked that episode. I would like to talk to Maverick a little bit more, but with a lot going on, and you had your list of agendas and the world takeover on that day, so we let you away with it.
Here's how he maintains himself as an artist. He has a number of fans. Let's say he has 1,000 fans, and they go out and they spend 30 quid a year. They buy an album and they go to a gig. That's 30 grand. Okay, so that's how he makes money. He doesn't make money artists don't make money anymore by selling albums and all this, because we all streamed and stuff. So if you can buy the album, if you can go and see the gig, yeah, and if 1,000 people spend 30 quid on him in Ireland this year, he can have a career. Okay, now the numbers are bigger than that because he's a big name, but that's the way it works.
That's
now.
how young artists get started off, you know.
Yeah.
Where it feels like sometimes from a young artist perspective that it's a massive hill to climb. You know, like you just put it out, like exactly like that. It's probably one of the best ways I've heard it being put, to be fair, because it takes away that big kind of like leap that you've got in your mind that doesn't really exist. It's a gradual thing, you know.
You feel someone's going to come in with a big check one day and say, "We seen your material, you made it."
Yeah, and it's just, to be honest, it's the knock-on effect of 15 years of X Factor, in my opinion.
But it's also how labels have worked. They've sold this dream and they've got you to break your back to get the dream, but when you get there, it's not there, and then they own all your records.
It's kind of like it's in a certain situation, it's kind of like a grooming situation. Like, let them make you feel like you need us. You need us to exist. You need us to be successful. You need us to make great music. And as soon as things aren't right, we bring you in. As soon as things aren't right, then we leave you off. You know what I mean?
But John Connors, John Connors, when he first came on, because we've had John on twice as well. When John first came on, I hadn't met John, but John would have been a situation where John had came on, and he would have been known just for the love hate, if you must. I think in between that episode, the idea of him getting the IFTA and all. Now we would have had it at this time, but a lot more of my concentration would have been coming on as the character in Love Hate. Now the amount of layers that I found to John Connors after this was a lot more than his Love Hate, and his story is absolutely inspired and incredible. So I'll let you play the clip. This is the clip.
So I didn't even plan a speech, man. That's being honest with you. Like, the only thing I said, on the off chance, if something happens, I'm going to dedicate it to my father, because acting saved my life. Because I was suicidal, so I felt that connection, and my father was the one who introduced me to films, and then my brother Joe was the fellow who came up with the idea for me to act. So I knew I was going to say something like that, but then as I was walking up and seeing the film board there, and I went, I'm going to mention them. Oh no, wait, the film board didn't fund us. He turned us down. 5 million hits it hit, like, and it amassed more hits than every other IFTA winning speech of every actor ever online combined times 10 probably. Conor McGregor got in touch, and that was nice for me, because I'd look up to him like as a real inspirational person, you know. Tyson Fury as well got in touch with me.
He's a good man. I was on a session with him. He's
a good man. Ah, fuck, I would have loved him to be there, man.
Me and him in London, man. You weren't there, were you not? No. Tell you when we stop recording this.
Yeah, so what a man. John Connors is an absolute legend, and even since then John has gone on to do some amazing things. If you haven't seen his one-man show, Ireland's Call, absolutely amazing. I remember sitting there in the crowd being absolutely shocked about it. It's one bloke sitting there on a chair in the dark, and the stories are just so relatable. He talks about drugs, he talks about ecstasy coming up, coming down, and it's just amazing. The whole crowd is on a journey with him, if you must, on a trip. The next clip, the last clip that we have here is the warrior, Cian Cowley. Cian absolutely blew the episode out of the water.
Episode 50 as well.
It was episode 50, so we were at the halfway point, and Cian talked about a lot of personal stuff in it and a lot of the exclusive stuff that we had never even heard about, the situations that he had found himself in. Check out this clip. This is a cracker.
We had no intentions of going and doing what happened. Like, it's just the way it happened. Like, do you know what I mean? The management got on and were like, right, there's a warrant out for Conor. The blah blah blah. The police want you, and I was like, right. And nothing had been said about me. I was like, I'm not getting away with it. Lovely. Couldn't leave. Then I got the phone call. Then there's a warrant out for you. I remember me and Conor getting let in the shackles and all. Like, we were after doing a murder or something, like getting let in, and then. But like the fact that it was the two of us back to back, so it was kind of. The thought of, like, I knew, like, if anything had kicked off and I had Conor with me, if I was gonna have a man with
you, I'll pick him.
He is the man to have. So we seen like a screen, a telly that was on, and one of the screws was watching it, and like I could just look in and Fox News and my head and his head's on it, and I'm just like there going like, holy Jesus, like, we're on Fox News.
Who's gonna kill me?
Do you know what I mean? We're on Fox News. Of course, I'd me top off and all that, and just like
flowers now,
push-ups and pull-ups and shadow boxing the whole lot, because we were just we were bored over our heads, like, do you know what I mean? So we were just, but like, it was just literally the size of this room, and it was just bars and a steel bench and then a hole in the ground that was all clogged with shite and all. And it was this whole, we didn't know there was going to be this, but there's like 1,000 media outside, Fox News, everybody is out, there's camera crews set up from the night before, they knew this was happening. We didn't know it was like that. And then I was like, right, Cian, you were going first, you were on the car, you were on the first car, and Conor's in the second car, you go out first, and then I had the cuffs on, two coppers walking me out, and I'm walking out, and as soon as I walk out, I just had a little glimpse like that, and then just put my head down, because I was just like,
you don't want to be caught
I was just looking around, and I even remember spotting the RTE camera and all that.
Just
we thought it was just a private hearing in the court with just a judge and us. We didn't know that there was going to be media in the courtroom and cameras, and then we got let out into the court. You do the eye thing, and then I had a little scan around the room, and I seen all the media down the back, and then I seen a big huge camera on a rail, and I was like, what is, like, yeah. So then I was like, and me in a fucking tracksuit.
I might get lit up by every lad, every round I spar or taken down, but the second I get back up, you're fucking paying for it. And I never walk with my head held down, because I think I'm against bigger people every day. I don't train with girls. I am up against the cosh every single day. But people like me and you who come from council estates, and we come through this adversity, and we're not expected to achieve or to be anyone, and put all these different obstacles in front of us, watch us jump and fucking high jump, skip and fucking leap over them. Do you know what I mean?
And the idea is, because even when you start doing well, and when you do come from a place like we come from, the expectation gets bigger.
Because you're fighting for 10 million people. Then,
and these people are like, you're them,
yeah.
You're them. You know what I mean?
Live, like, it's proper give me goosebumps. That
Man,
because
goosebumps. So you know what I'm bullshitting about it.
Yeah, cause like.
So then after Dublin, like, the idea, your star was shining.
It was, yeah, for like to a certain extent. I don't know. I think that it wasn't as shiny as you guys still were after the first one. I think because like there was a couple of losses for some of the guys on that night and whatever. I think that kind of put a bit of a dent in the overall Fighting Irish thing. You know, like if it had been the one that you guys all fought, everybody won. If everybody had won on the second one, I think it would have still kept going.
It would have kept the momentum going.
Yeah, but I think it just kind of like took a bit of the shine off the whole Fighting Irish thing. You're ruining it for everybody.
Yeah.
Damn it!
Yeah, it's like.
So that's 99 episodes kind of wrapped up. We couldn't do them all, so we picked out some of our favourite ones. But this Friday, make sure you get your copy of The Hooligan is out. It took me 2 years. A year and a half, 2 years to write this book. I read it with Richie Barrett from the Pundit Arena, and the journey we had writing this book is a story of itself. The launch of the book is in 22 on the 4th of November. You can get your tickets, the link is in bio on the Instagram, and it'd be good to see you there. So the ticket gets you a book signed, and access to the questions and answers, and the book is actually cheaper if you get it from the tickets, if you're wide, you know what I mean? I'm going to read the first page of this, and then I'm going to leave it with you, alright? So, I spat the blood and the gravel out of my mouth. It tasted like cement on my tongue. Dazed, I looked down at the tooth lying on the floor. At least you got away, I thought to myself. My head throbbed, but I had come to know that feeling very well. You've got plenty left in you, Paddy, I told myself, as I gathered up every ounce of energy in my thin body. I lifted myself up off the ground, the blood oozing from the cuts on my face. I spat out some words one more time. Is that all you fucking got? I walked towards my source of pain, and it happened again. Whack, and I dropped to the floor. Somebody's take this ginger lad away, he's crazy. As I lay on the ground, I rubbed my tongue through my mouth, counting and nervously searching for another hole, but the rest of my teeth were still there. I barely felt that fucking one. I laughed, I staggered to my feet like an alcoholic who reached the rock bottom. But this wasn't my rock bottom. This was the day that Paddy fucking Holohan announced his arrival to the people of Jobstown. I was 10 years old, and I wouldn't allow myself to be bullied anymore. It was time for the Hooligan to take over. On Friday, buy a book, and I'll catch you then. Look after yourself.